Welcome to the Crypto Queen Perspective. I'm your host, Natalia Draper, also known as the Crypto Queen, where we explore the people, ideas, and innovations shaping the future of digital assets, blockchain, finance. Before we begin, a quick reminder that this content is for educational and informational purposes only and should not be considered financial advice. As always, do your own research and make decisions based on your own circumstances and risk tolerance. My aim is to create a space for open conversation, education, and real insight into this fast-moving industry. Now, let's get to today's conversation. I am delighted to be welcoming back to the Crypto Queen Perspective, Natalia Clack from Easy Super.
Hi,
So,
Danielle.
Natalia, welcome. How are you?
Good.
So I've had Natalia on the show before. She is a specialist in crypto-friendly self-managed super funds. So Natalia, welcome back to the show. You are a recognised leader in the SMSF space, and you have built a reputation for helping everyday Australians take greater control of their superannuation and long-term financial future. So you have decades of experience in the industry, and you work with individuals and families to navigate the process of setting up and managing SMSF, including compliance, accounting, tax, and the practical education needs to make confident retirement decisions. So, Natalia, I don't want to steal your thunder, I probably already have. But if you would like to, give a quick, brief overview, feel free.
Yeah, thank you for introduction. And it's my pleasure to be here on this podcast. I definitely like the first time and the questions you asked me. But Easy Super, I've been running Easy Super for the last 12 years, and I've been doing SMSFs for the last 22 years. But what is SMSF? Sorry, SMSF is a vehicle to build your wealth in retirement. So the goal of our company is to help Australians to build wealth in retirement, to retire with more money. And I guess cryptocurrency is one of the investments where people can see the future and the people can see and deliver higher returns. So it means that they want to build their superannuation and they want to retire with more money. And crypto, like I said, it's one of the asset classes where it is possible, and it's possible to accelerate the process as well. And we are helping everyday Australians to run it using a vehicle, which is SMSF. SMSF is just a vehicle. We look after the compliance and all the boring stuff, and you can focus on the investing and making money using your super. That's the bottom line of it.
Yeah, thanks, Natalia. Now, many of you may have also seen Natalia recently speaking at XRP Australia, where she shared her insights into the evolving role of SMSFs and digital assets in retirement planning. And Natalia also sits on the SMSF Institute, contributing to the broader industry dialogue and education. So at our last conversation, we explored the foundations of SMSF. And if you want to visit that, that's available at the Crypto Queen Perspective YouTube. Head on over to there. But today we're going to dive deeper into strategy, regulation, and the future of retirement investing. So if there are any questions during the stream, please send them through. But with that said, let's dive in. So since our last conversation, Natalia, have you noticed more Australians becoming interested in crypto with their super?
There are definitely more Australians becoming interested in a self-managed superannuation funds and managing their SMSF. The crypto is the fastest growing asset class in SMSFs. However, I think it's just the trend to take control over the superannuation in general. And like I said, crypto is the fastest growing asset, but there are other assets available in SMSF as well. And with crypto, as you know, in the past few months, it hasn't been a very exciting run. So a lot of people have a little bit, like cold feet about crypto in SMSF. So which could be sometimes could be a good thing, because we used to have clients calling me or people calling me and saying, I want to invest 100% of my super in such and such coin, or just in crypto in general. I think the sentiments changed in the past few months. People want more diversification. People saying, okay, I want to invest some percentage of my super in such and such asset class, especially crypto is a riskier asset class. We all know that it goes up and it goes down and it's volatile. So the sentiments have changed, and at the moment people are looking at putting their eggs in different baskets.
Yeah, and I think that's a really valid point, Natalia, because putting all your eggs in one basket or everything into crypto 100% is maybe not the safest play with your SMSF. So what are the biggest misconceptions people still have about SMSF and digital assets? So it's kind of a twofold question, I guess.
I think one of the biggest misconception, and I keep seeing it over and over again, people come to us and they say, I just want to invest my super in crypto. It's easy. It is simple, because they think if it's simple to them, they pick the exchange, they pick the cold wallet, for example, and they see it as a simple process. It's not simple in the eyes of the accountants or in the eyes of the auditors. It is a complex asset class. It's not a simple asset class. Even you invest in a simple crypto, which we know there are like crypto coins which are easier to invest, easier to move to cold storage, for example. But in the eyes of the accountants, in the eyes of legislation, it's not a simple asset class. It's a complex asset class. And we do have to be careful about how you do your investments, which exchange you pick, which cold wallet you pick, and which crypto you pick. Again, without providing the advice, obviously it's a general information only, but it does make a difference which crypto you invest into. So this is one of the this is one of the most common I see misconceptions, that people think, oh, I just do the simple things. It's not simple from our perspective, from the auditors and accountants' perspective.
Well, I think that's probably fits into both about SMSF and digital assets. Like everyone thinks SMSF is they're taking control, and it's a misconception is that it's going to be easy, but it's not that simple. And then you've got the layer of, I'll just invest in the digital assets because it's simple, but then that is also not that simple, as I discovered along the road of, conversations that we've had. So what do you think, like, how do you think people should, think about risk management when including crypto into their portfolios? Again,
I think everyone,
advice.
yeah, not a financial advice. I think everyone has to start and understand the responsibilities. As a trustee of SMSF, you are responsible for managing your SMSF and making sure that your super works for your future. So it's not a gamble. Definitely you cannot gamble with your superannuation. And if you do, there is a section which you will breach in the SIS Act superannuation legislation, and there are penalties for breaching this section. And the section says that the superannuation has one goal and one goal only, is to provide benefits for you in your retirement. So if you're thinking it's, you know, like gambling machine and you can put your money through it, that's a wrong attitude. So first of all, you have to understand your responsibilities. Then you have to decide, okay, what risk am I ready to take in order to get such and such return? Because usually the higher risk you take, the higher returns you will receive potentially. But at the same time, you can lose all the money as well. And when we are talking about, say, for example, your personal investments in your personal name, or if you use the family trust or the company structure, then there is not such a responsibility like keep your money and try to improve your retirement outcome. With superannuation, you are responsible. There is a responsibility. So it's very, very different from a legislation perspective, how you should approach risk-taking in a self-managed superannuation fund. What I say to my clients or people who talk to me about, you know, what they want to do without providing advice, again, you can do whatever you want outside of super. You can invest in any crazy, risky project. I don't care. It's your money. You lose it, you're a loser. But in SMSF, it's not your money yet. You have to understand it's your future retirement savings. So you have to approach it with the degree of like being conservative, basically, and with a different degree of care about this future retirement savings. So yes, crypto is allowed in the self-managed superannuation funds. Yes, you can invest your super in crypto, but you have to think about the risk you're taking, and you have to think about what if you lose this money. When you retire, obviously, what are you going to live on? So that's your future retirement nest. So don't gamble with it.
Yeah, very sound advice there. And a perspective regarding regulations and it not being your money until you actually retire. So just moving on, I guess, do you see SMSFs evolving into multi-asset digital portfolios and more specifically, including tokenized assets?
Absolutely. I can foresee more and more crypto projects and SMSFs investing in crypto projects. And this is happening already. But obviously, the more crypto will get, I guess, accepted by the big institutions, managed funds, the more it will be accessible by the SMSFs as well. So I can see it's happening. In terms of the tokenization of the assets, I think it's a little bit early, because the legislation is not ready. We do have a lot of gray areas, even in the current legislation, especially in taxation, some gray areas in the taxation, like wrapping of the coins, for example, and some other gray areas which obviously we don't know how to treat it from the tax perspective. So when you think about tokenization of the assets, it's definitely future, 100%, but we have to make sure that legislation is ready. We have to make sure that from like our perspective, and I'm an accountant and I'm a SMSF auditor, I need to know what to do about this asset class. If my client comes to me and says, I want to buy tokenized property, for example, what do I do about it from the compliance perspective and from the tax perspective? If someone came to me tomorrow, I would not know what to do. You know what I mean? So I would have to approach ATO for a private ruling or for clarification about the certain aspects, especially from compliance point of view. So I don't think legislation is ready yet in the SMSFs. But in the future, definitely it's going to happen.
Yeah, thank you. I feel like you kind of answered my next question, but I'm going to ask it anyway, which is, I guess that because that's more about tokenized assets and what you're seeing in portfolios, but this is more specifically about regulation and the regulatory landscape around crypto in superannuation and how that is evolving in Australia. So I guess how is the regulatory landscape around crypto in superannuation evolving in Australia?
It's not evolving much. In SMSFs, if we're talking about a particular
Yes.
asset, yes, or particular vehicle, particular entity is SMSF. It's not evolving much. However, we do have a new legislation, as you probably know, so which will affect SMSFs as well. So from the 1st of July, when we have, exchanges, for example, every exchange will need to have AFSL, a license, it will affect SMSFs indirectly. However, in terms of the ATO guidance on a certain compliance issues which we are seeing with crypto and SMSFs, there is still a silence. So we don't know, especially from the auditor's perspective, we don't know about certain areas in SMSF compliance, how to approach it. And what it means that the auditors, for example, they express their own opinion, and it could go from qualifying the audit report because they cannot confirm the existence or ownership of certain assets, say in a cold wallet, and they can qualify the audit report because they don't have the guidance, they don't have a legislation from the ATO saying like, yes, you can approach it if such and such conditions are met. So every auditor is just making their own mind, making their own opinion. So which makes it more complex again from the compliance point of view. It makes it more complex to have this asset class in SMSF. And this is where, like, for example, with us, we have a lot of experience with crypto in SMSF. So we know how to satisfy the auditor, and we also know which auditors require what, because again, every auditor is slightly different and have slightly different requirements for crypto and SMSF. So navigating this landscape, because there is no clear legislation about it, it's quite a challenge, and this is where complexity comes from. So you need to have experience in order to be able to advise clients on crypto and SMSF from the compliance point of view.
Yeah, thank you. That was very important information, I think, because the regulatory landscape here in Australia, for those that are tuned in and don't know, the AFSL licensing for exchanges is required by the 30th of June. So those that haven't applied for it by the 30th of June, I'm not sure what the outcome will be for them, but possibly moving out of Australia, I would say.
Yeah.
In terms of, their operations. So I guess, we are seeing large financial institutions entering crypto. And I know some of them are not going to say right now either what they're doing because they've got a lot of NDAs in place. But how do you think this might also impact SMSF investors?
It definitely will boost its SMSF investing in crypto assets, because obviously if there are more offers, and I guess safer in a way, safer options, a lot of people might consider investing in crypto, not directly but indirectly. But for example, investing in managed funds, which are investing in cryptocurrency, or ETFs, which again are investing in cryptocurrency. This way, of course, you get your risk reduced because you're investing in the entity which has a license and follow the regulations. But also, of course, the potentially the return is not going to be as high as when you invest directly in this particular coin. That's the difference. However, I definitely can see that more and more people, especially people who are more conservative, people who still a little bit scared to invest in cryptocurrency, or maybe people who are not tech savvy, because for some people crypto is very simple, easy, no issues, like to invest. And for some people it's really, really complicated. Some people, especially older people, for example, they probably would love to get exposure to the crypto assets, but they just don't know how to do it. Like physically, they don't know how to do it, and they are afraid to get scammed, to lose their money. So I think this type of people, they might get a good option investing via the managed funds, ETFs, and this way to expose themselves to this asset class.
Yeah, I think you brought up two really valid points right there, Natalia. One was the technology, so that older age bracket perhaps. And the second one is being afraid of being scammed. And I did a whole session on our colleague and friend with Dee Skillicorn. And that's a very real thing. Like, we are seeing socially engineered scams on the rise in this industry. So two very things. But on the technology side, what tools or platforms do you see that are emerging that are making managing crypto within SMSFs easier?
I think obviously the tools which help to reconcile cryptocurrency, the tools which bring all wallets, exchanges, transactions together and produce a report at the end of the financial year. And this report could be sent to the accountant. I think this type of tools, of course, important. The other set of tools are tools proving the market value and ownership and existence of the crypto, because this is one of the things which are different for cryptocurrency in SMSF. So in SMSF at 30th of June, you have to prove that this cryptocurrency exists, that you own this cold wallet, or you are the owner of this account in the exchange, and you have to prove the market value as well of these coins. So there are tools emerging which help to produce this type of confirmation and reports. And it makes it much easier for the auditor to tick the box and to, I guess, move on with the clean audit report. These are two, I guess, type of new technology and new tools which are emerging in the SMSF space. Apart from that, I wouldn't say anything else is exciting, or I haven't seen anything else exciting in this space.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I just think it's always interesting for someone that's in the industry and knows exactly what's going on and would be seeing those tools as to what's coming across, because we've seen tax tools come, in the last 10 years. So I feel like in the next 10 years, we're going to see a lot of SMSF tools come into play to make it easier to manage. In terms of future assets, and I know we've kind of already touched on this, but do you see tokenized real estate, commodities, or equities becoming part of SMSF portfolios in the future?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I could see it because obviously, like when it's tokenized, it's easier to own a part of it. And again, like a lot of people love cryptocurrency because of the technology behind it as well. So it's not only, obviously, everyone wants to make money, but it's also the technology which excites the people who invest in crypto. So, and I think a tokenized asset class is one of those things which will definitely attract a lot of investors. Everyone loves real estate, or maybe most people love real estate. And combined with cryptocurrency, combined with digital technology, I think it's going to have attract massive interest, and definitely, especially for the SMSF investors, as long as legislation will keep up with the technology as well, because we might have a technology in the future, say in the next, I would say in the next maybe 12 months, 18 months, I can see it's happening and getting very popular and widespread. But in terms of legislation, I'm not sure if it's going to be ready in 12 or 18 months. I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, and I'm just wondering too, like where, and I'm not sure if you can answer this question. I'm not like, where does Australia sit in terms of self-managed super funds in comparison to other regions in the APAC region and or across the globally?
In terms of SMSS, we're definitely on the top of the ladder. And the reason is, because no other country has anything like Australia, where you can manage your retirement, where savings, where you can manage your superannuation and invest in whatever asset class you want, as long as it's allowed under legislation and as long as you stay compliant. But technically, there are so many options. The other countries, they have something similar. If they have something similar, it's a very, very restricted. We have almost unrestricted. The sky is the limit in terms of where we can invest. Again, as long as we follow the rules and as long as we are compliant. So we definitely have like 30 years of the great experience with super, and I hope that it will continue be that way. I really hope that it's not going to be any limitations or restrictions put on us. But, again, we never know. It all depends on how people, how much people take responsibility for their own investments. And obviously, there are, like things going on with superannuation. Then people set up a SMSF and they withdraw the money and they go and spend the money. They spend on the everyday expenses, etc., etc. So, if this percentage of misuse of SMSFs is low, it is, like quite a few SMSFs doing it or set up for that purpose. At the moment, the percentage is still very low. As long as it's low, the government is not going to impose any restrictions. But unfortunately, if it gets higher, then we might see some restrictions imposed on the SMSFs and limiting SMSFs to invest in certain things, or maybe limiting SMSF establishment under certain minimum amount, or maybe even like requirement for some training or requirement for some education before you set up SMSF. It might happen in the future, but at this stage, we have full control. We have a very wide asset class where we can invest, and as long as we follow the rules and as long as we're compliant, we can do a lot of things.
Yeah, thanks. So I guess if we look at the long-term vision of how might retirement investing look in like 10 to 20 years from now as blockchain technology matures and the regulations, I guess, even mature? I mean, you kind of just said possibly there might be other things that come into play, but how do you think it might look as blockchain technology, I guess, matures? That's sort of more my point.
Look, to be honest, I think it will become less complex in the SMSF. So I think it will become easier, and I hope it will become easier for the accountants and for the auditors to support the clients who want to invest in this asset class. So, and it would become more, I guess, widespread, more adopted by a wider SMSF community, because at the moment it's still, the latest statistics, it's still 0.6% of SMSFs investing in crypto. It's a very, very low percentage of SMSFs invest in cryptocurrency. I believe it will become much higher. So it means more money will flow from the from superannuation space in terms of investment will flow into the crypto space. And we have 4.6 trillion sitting in superannuation system. So it's a lot of money to move into crypto, a lot of superannuation pension money. So I believe it definitely will drive the crypto interest. It definitely will drive the market as well. But again, we need to make sure that legislation is very clear, and accountants and the auditors can support the clients with the not the investment advice, but compliance advice and tax advice in terms of when client says, I want to invest in crypto. Okay, let's have a look how to do it, and let's have a look how I can support you. Rather than now, a lot of accountants, if someone, for example, goes to the general accountant and says, I want to set up a SMSF and invest in crypto, 9 out of 10 accountants would say, no way, don't do that. You know, don't set up a SMSF, don't invest in crypto. And the only reason why they say it, they don't know how to support the client with crypto investment. It's not because it's not allowed to invest in crypto using your superannuation, but because they don't know how to support the client. This is where the pain, I guess, coming from, and this is where you know, a lot of clients, they don't, a lot of people, sorry, they don't get this support from the accountants.
Yeah, so I think you made some really good points there. One was over 4 trillion, did you say, sitting in superannuation, just in Australia alone? So I feel like SMSF is going to give the superannuation funds a run for their money, literally. The second one is educating the accountants that we have in self-managed super funds to make that a compliant option for those that would like to do that. So I guess I just had a question DM to me on what do I do to get started? So what do they do to get started with you, Natalia? You know, and for full disclosure and transparency, this today's stream is sponsored by Natalia Clack from Easy Super. So what can you give to the audience that are tuning in? How do they get started with you?
Okay, first of all, you have to book a session, 10-minute session. It's a free session with myself. So if you go to our website, www.easysuper.au, you can book a session with myself. I will explain you what, you know, how we set up SMSF, what to expect. But we set you up in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, you'll have your SMSF established, you'll have bank account set up, you'll have all the compliance boxes ticked for you, and rollover done from your current superannuation fund into the self-managed superannuation fund, ready to invest. But the most important, we educate you. After we set up your SMSF, we also educate you on everything you need to know about self-managed superannuation funds, what you cannot do, what you can do, how to stay compliant, how much tax you pay, how to put more money into your super, when can you access it, and much, much more. We educate you, so you will be set up for the next 20, 30 years with us. And then we continue supporting you during, because every time, every year SMSF has to lodge a tax return, it has to be audited. So we continue supporting you every year with the tax, administration, accounting, and the audit as well. So this is how you get started, and it starts with the phone call.
Fantastic. Thank you. And before we finish, other than booking in a call with Natalia at easysuper.au, what are the top things that people should, the first 3 steps that they should take, other than book a call, which is number 1 with you?
Yeah, first of all, get yourself educated, or get us to educate you. Knowledge is a power. You need to know the rules of this game in order to make money, in order to, like increase your superannuation. You need to know the rules. This is number 1. Number 2, you have to understand that you will be in a driver's seat. It will be your responsibility to make the decisions. So you have to get ready to be in the driver's seat and to make these investments, very important investment decisions in your life. And number 3, you have to make sure that you organize or you employ the right team for you. So you have to get an expert to assist you with your superannuation. It's not a general accountant who can assist you, and I'll have nothing against the general accountants. But as a general accountant, it's the same like GP. Yes, GP knows a little bit about everything, but if you have a heart condition, you go to the heart doctor. The same with SMSF. Go to the specialist, find a specialist in order to utilize your SMSF, in order to utilize your superannuation in full, because you don't know what you're missing out, even if you are compliant. But if you don't employ the SMSF specialist, then again, you don't know what strategies you are missing out on. That's important. So professionals will help you and guide you and make sure that you like save on tax, make sure that you utilize SMSF strategies. In that way, you can grow your superannuation even more. That's very important.
Yeah, thank you, Natalia. Well, this has been a fantastic conversation, and a huge thank you to you, Natalia, for joining us again on the Crypto Queen Perspective, and for sharing your insights and your expertise. These conversations are incredibly valuable as we continue to navigate the rapidly evolving digital asset ecosystem and its intersection with financial structures and superannuation or self-managed super funds. So thank you so much, Natalia.
Thank you.
I love those 3 nuggets of gold at the end. And for anyone who joined us live today, or for those who'll be watching the replay, if you enjoyed the conversation, please share it with your network if it helps these important discussions reach more people. Until next time, this is Danella Draper, the Crypto Queen, and you've been watching the Crypto Queen Perspective. Take care, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks, Daniela. Thanks, everyone.